Hi, this is Carol Rosatgiston. I am past president for IE-CAMFT, and I have the pleasure of being with HOLLI KENLEY today, a woman who's written 11 books. The way I see what she does is those books are healing. That's what I see, that's kind of the calling. But with that said, would you introduce yourself?
I sure will, Carol, and thank you so much. And I want to thank Inland Empire Camp for having me back again. This is my third or fourth time I've had the privilege of presenting to your lovely chapter. My name is HOLLI KENLEY. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I work in the field of psychology as a therapist. I have a private practice in Rancho Mirage, and an author and a workshop presenter. And prior to my career as a therapist, I was a teacher in public school for just 30 years. So I'm looking forward to our time together and exploring the topic of shifting bravely.
Yeah, I love that. It takes courage to shift. It really does. I mean, so many people are scared to change that they don't understand that that's where the good stuff happens. Yes. I put that one together a long time ago. That is where whatever you believe in, higher power, whatever, that is where the good stuff is. And the thing we're most scared of.
Yes. Oh, Carol, I couldn't agree more. And we were talking before we started to record that back in 2018, I had finished a book based on a qualitative study. It was called Daughters Betrayed by Their Mothers, Moving from Brokenness to Wholeness. And it goes exactly to what you're saying, is that I was so blown away by these stories of resilience and perseverance and the power of shifting and changing. And so after that book came out, I knew that there would be a day would come where I really wanted to hone in on this concept of shifting, this integral part of change. We as therapists, I believe, ask ourselves all the time, what motivated this person to change, and how is it that that person is continuing on their path of recovery, and why is it that others are not, or they're getting stuck, or just kind of settling for the status quo. So I wanted to take some time, and I did. I took about 1.5 years where I explored this process, this dynamic process of shifting. And I did so in 2 ways. I just wanted to put out there is I sent out a letter of invitation to individuals on lots of different platforms. It was completely voluntary to share a story in their life where they experienced a shift. And 5 questions, and they answered those 5 questions. And I got quite a few stories and quite a few responses. And then I used anonymous client cases as well. What I wanted to do, because I had a process in my mind about this shifting, and I wanted to see if those stories matched it or contradicted it.
Like a hypothesis.
Yeah, I just blended that together and came up with this 8-part process of shifting. And before I forget, I just want to put out there that this is going to be an interactive workshop. And so if you're watching this or listening to it, I would like you to be thinking about a shift that you went through that transformed your life in a very positive or productive or surprising way. Or perhaps you're going through a shift right now. So I would just tempt you with that, is to be thinking about that, because I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of writing and some sharing, and to really integrate what I'm saying into the process and the workshop.
I love it. The thing that crossed my mind when you were talking, something I say all the time, but I'm sure you've probably said this too, pain is the great motivator. And sometimes it has to be a lot of pain before they're willing to look at themselves and realize that our job is not to judge,
Mhm.
but to join in and support them to whatever goal they want.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, and that's what, you know, that's what crosses my mind. Who doesn't want, as a therapist, a motivated client?
Yes, yes.
You know, we all do.
Absolutely. And we know that there are things that get in the way of that, and that the process has to be safe. And whether it's in my writings or in my work as a therapist, and I do come across, you see how I work in Shifting Bravely, because there's numerous stories, as I said, that are from anonymous clients, where you see how the process unfolds in the therapeutic relationship. So I love that piece about making it safe and comfortable, because what's happening is, as you alluded to, Carol, is that individuals are bringing in their discomfort. So what do we do with it, and how do we help empower them to move through it? And the process that I'd just like to add this, that I shared at the beginning with you, is that I very much use nature a lot in my process, in my work, and in my writings. And I stumbled across this beautiful quote early on. I was analyzing the stories that had come in, and just kind of figuring out how I was going to format what I was discovering and uncovering. And I just want to share this with the audience, because this set the stage for the entire process that we'll be going through during the workshop. And it's a quote by Steve Goudier. And it says, "When you assess your own life, consider it with the eye of a gardener. Underneath the surface lies rich, fertile soil, waiting to nurture the seeds you sow. Even more than you can imagine will grow there, if given a chance." And what I love about that, not only is it safe, but the premise is that we're all capable of change. So it's very hopeful, and it's very hope-filled. And so with that, I invite, as I said, the participants into this process of growth, from the seeds, they're just in the soil, and what it takes to get them growing, all the way to the harvest, and what that process is going to look like through the metaphor of a gardener and his or her garden.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that crossed my mind when you were talking, and they all went away. But with that said, you know, what you're sharing of change, that it can be scary or it can be embraced. It's a choice. And we all have that, not just as, you know, the people or patients that we see, but as therapists. Because we all have our own journey.
Yes.
So, you know, for me, this is really powerful, because people are more than not convinced that the change is going to be better.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't see it that way, and I don't think you do either.
You're right. I'd just like to put this out there too, is just as a little bit of a teaser. It's something really important that I have been thinking about for a long time, that has become a real barrier to change. And we know, pretty much the common ones. And I want to also put out there that I also really try to stay away from clinical jargon, because invite and make this comfortable. But there's something that, and I'm not going to say all of what it is yet today.
Yeah, no, we're doing a teaser now. Yeah. We're going to get you people in so you can find out. She's an amazing speaker. It'll be a joy, trust.
Thank you. But I just do want to say that it is a barrier, and yet it is something that so simply and easily can be addressed and changed, that will open up a whole new window into accessing those seeds that aren't defective.
No.
They are simply dormant.
Right. I mean, they need to be watered
Yes.
and taken care of, maybe a little fertilizer, however that works. Yeah, I am completely in agreement with you. And this will be an opportunity for somebody to grow.
Mm.
A lot of us miss opportunities.
Yes. Yes.
But you know, if you're willing, she's going to take you down a path.
Mm.
And that path at the end is and can be something wonderful. And it does require trust to some degree. I trust Holly. You know, I can't remember the first time we met, maybe authors gathering or something, but I trust her, and I trust her, what's the word I'm looking for? Her intuitive understanding of what humans need.
Mm.
Whether it's trauma, sometimes called life, or
Mhm.
whether it is just simply that you would like to understand yourself more and be open to what I think of as the limitless possibilities.
Well, Carol, thank you so much for that. And it's when we put ourselves on paper, as you know, as an author, and we put our voices out there, it's, you know, there's always risk involved. And yet with vulnerability, we know comes growth. And so I don't have the answer. I have the path, I have a path. And there's so many remarkable paths out there. And when I put a path out there, it's one that is built in integrity and research, and with my whole being in it as well. So thank you for that, and for trusting me as a speaker and as an author and a therapist as well. So again, we invite everybody in, and we hope to see you on the 22nd of April.
Yeah, and also I want to say that, you know, you're talking about the healing and integrity. And with that said, you know, what is integrity? You know, like you were talking about defining words, which I do a lot in my practice right in front of the clients, because, you know, your definition is going to be different from mine. But I look at integrity as doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Mm.
Making that choice for yourself. And nowhere in your step process that you were kind of referring to did I hear shame.
Mm. No.
Right. Because that's where we lose them. And that is what is probably happening inside their negative narrative that they have in their head.
Yes.
So
Oh,
I'm excited. And you know, we as a board, we have big trainings, and sometimes people come from all over the country now. You know, that's one of the positive things about what COVID has created, this new world of we can connect all over. So as far as I'm concerned, and I have done this, I use your books as referral for helping, you know, based upon just mother-daughter, such a, you know, same-sex parenting and children, big deal. But you are an amazing referral source. And I believe that the books that you have inside of you are all about healing.
Well, Carol, thank you again so much. And it's why we do what we do, right?
Absolutely. If we don't love what we do, please leave the profession, because if we, that is hands down gonna burn you out if you don't have the calling. At least, that's how I see it.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, good. That's at least two of us. So with that said, we're talking about April 22nd, 9 to 11 a.m. And we also offer streaming now. It's a new thing that we've been working on for a while. So like an on-demand library that we have. And also, Holly has been gracious enough to offer 2 of her books when she speaks. And we'll have a little way to do that. Contests are fun. So with that said, I recommend her highly, and we would love to see you there. And if you have any questions, please contact us at our Gmail, IE-CAMFT. You can look on IE-CAMFT.org, and then you can reach us. We'd be happy to answer your questions. In fact, if you have any questions that you'd like to send in that you want us to ask her, feel free to do so.
Yes.
And we'll have a nice little chat. And just the fact that you are having a training that's integrated, that we are going to have, conversation back and forth, will make it a, I don't want to say the wrong word with this, entertaining, keeps you on the wanting to learn more and more.
And Carol, I'll just add to finish up is that although there are 4 clinical objectives for our CEUs, I added a 5th, and that's just that I really want this workshop to lighten the heaviness around us. All of the noise and the heaviness, you'll see in the tone of the workshop, to lighten that, just to take 2 hours to lighten that heaviness and to lift your spirits. So we welcome
self-care. That's self-care for us.
Yep.
Which, by the way, therapists don't do enough of.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that, Holly, because that is so needed in our field. With what's happening, mental health has become, the biggest subject matter topic in history.
Yes.
Every one of us are flooded with calls and waiting lists and all of those things, which is great because the stigma is breaking in all of the cultures, and they get to learn from you. And we don't bring you back because of any reason except you're an amazing presenter. You are authentic, and that I've been told many times, there is not enough authentic out there, which is sad but true. So with that, I will put all of the information online. We'll get her professional pages there, the links to everything. And then, of course, this will be uploaded to YouTube, and we will get that to you as we do with all of our emails. So thank you, Holly. You did a great job as usual.
Thank you. And I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Right? Yes. So in a couple weeks, You guys, you want to change your life? Show up. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. With that said, please have a good day, you guys, and please stay safe.
Yes. Thank you.